He's so Vaeni. He's so Vaeni.
Aloha! Jeremy Vaeni here for yet another He's So Vaeni. I bet you thought I'd never return. Huh? Is that what you were thinking? Never return? Yeah, I returned. And I return with news of a new book, which I may have talked about last time I was on, but we're drawing closer to the release date. The time is nigh-ish. January 8th, 2026. Kundalini and the Secrets of Silence. You can own it in paperback. You can own it in Kindle. In fact, you could pre-order it right now for Kindle if you want. You can't pre-order it for the paperback, unfortunately. But it's going to be both nothing like you expect and everything like you expect at the same time. I don't know. It's both of those things. It's liminal. So I think it is. Well, I was on this show, AP Strange, and the character there, AP Strange, said that it was my most mature work. So if you've been waiting for that transition where I go from Ricky Schroeder to Rick Schroeder, I guess Kundalini and the Secrets of Silence is as close as I've gotten yet. So this is the Rick Schroeder of my oeuvre. Anyway, I was going through me old He's So Vainy videos that I haven't mentioned yet or chatted upon or whatever. And they're slim pickings. I got to start doing more. But there's this one, which is from so far back. I don't remember why I chose this. I'm sure I can tell from the title. It's called What is Consciousness? Nonduality. With our host, Lisa Cairns, I believe it's pronounced. I don't know. I'm making that up. What is this? Cairns? Cairns? I don't know. But it's a live stream of hers, and it's long, and so thankfully, something I rarely do, and I guess I should always do it, I gave myself a little note like a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever it was that I picked this out, saying go to this time code and respond to "You Have a Choice" segment. So clearly, I have seen some of this, and I have chosen what to speak about, but I have zero memory of it. So in a way, I'm coming into this just as fresh as a daisy as you are. But let's go to a little bit before that time code. I have it at 4849, but she's actually responding to a question that happens a little bit before that. So let's hear the question, let's hear the response, and let's see if I can figure out why the hell I picked this out of a crowd.
Is there even a need to pressure awakening? Is there even a need to pursue awakening if we're already that? Doesn't it suffice to be present, rest in the I am? There's two answers that I'd give to that question. Is firstly the idea that you have a choice to pursue awakening or not. Right, so it's tempting to believe that we have free will and that we're choosing because it seems that way. So we can update our thinking by saying, oh, should I go for a run now, or should I sit and watch TV? If I go for a run, then I lose this amount of calories and I can have a bigger dinner. If I sit and watch TV, then I actually put on calories. So because we can have this contemplation, we believe then that there is inherently somebody here that's making a choice. Whereas if you look into the nature of thinking, you'll realize that thoughts are arising and you're not in control of the thoughts and you're not in control of the decision. They arise with this narrative as if they're choosing, but it's just a mechanism that the brain is using in order to update itself to be able to select the best choice, but there's not actually somebody that's in control of that. So say if you decide to sit on the sofa and watch TV rather than going for a run, you might then blame yourself for being lazy or something. But this is predestined in you from billions and billions of years ago. It couldn't have been any other way.
Well, that's cute. That's clever. But is it true? Um, I think if you're going to say that it's predestined because it's been programmed in you from a billion years ago, then it's not predestined. Like the second you have time acting not as an illusion, but as time, then you can't say um, you can't say there's no free will and there's no choice because it's predestined. Like, let me put it this way. If you're saying that there is timelessness, that we're looking at all of what we consider to be time unfolding as one picture from outside of time, from a timeless perspective, like a painting or something, then yeah, you can see that moving from point A to point B, although it feels as though you made a choice to not do point C or D, it's clearly in the painting already that you go from A to B and that C and D aren't going to happen. So from a timeless perspective, but she's not saying that. She's saying like billions of years ago you were programmed, and therefore no, once you're in time, then you're moving through time. Like this programming doesn't just happen and then like what's the program? You know what I mean? The thing that happened a billion years ago that supposedly is influencing you or predicting you right now is not predicting. Like it comes to you through a series of choices in that perspective. You know what I mean? Like in the perspective of time, if somebody does something a billion years ago that predicts you now, it's not like they just did something and it predicts you now. It's like they did something and like a billion choices were made and it predicts you now. But I don't know. I mean, that is so abstract that it's actually meaningless. Because like, can it really work that way? Like, are you absolutely predicted through all of the series of events? Because you're certainly not predicted by your genes. Like, this is where you could say, like, there's a heavy influence in your genes from your ancestors and from, a buildup that way. And then there's influences from society and from your parents and from whatever, these, we're talking about spheres of influences that impact your decision making, but they don't 100% predict you from within the picture. Now, again, if you were to say, but there's a perspective outside of the picture where all of that just looks like it's happening, but it's not. It's like a movie or a video game or something where it's not really happening that way. It's just the illusion of it happening that way. Okay, but I feel like that's not what she's saying. But anyway, let's see if she can clear it up for me.
But that's something you have to investigate rather than me telling you. Ramesh Balsekar, another teacher of mine, he used to say, in the end of the day, take a glass of whiskey, a big one, a very big one, and go back through the day and see if you can find the moment a choice began. It's great contemplation. Yeah. So that is one question. So, and he always used to say as well, like, you're in the tiger's mouth.
This is a weird thing because go back and see when a choice began. I mean, I just chose to do this now. So I didn't choose to do that when I woke up this morning. It certainly wasn't on my mind at all until just now when it popped into my head. So that's actually easy. I can go back to right just a second before I did that when I decided to use that as an example, right? So did I just negate her master or her teacher or whatever? But if you're going to say that like choices arise unconsciously a bazillionth of a second before you actually consciously do them, that's a different, interesting question or thing to play with. But I don't know. I'm not buying that she gets this. Also, the idea that like your brain is doing it and not you because you are an illusion. I feel like that's a misunderstanding of what it means to be an illusion. Like, you are, yes, there's you, the conscious person, and that is the illusion. And then there's the unconscious baggage that is puppeteering you, predicting you, or whatever, influencing you heavily. But that is that is a mixture of your personal psychology and impersonal or collective psychology of man, like, but it's both of those at least, plus your own physical, brain chemistry. Like, again, all of these are influences, but they are still personal, like that illusion of a person and the illusion of a person's being splintered off from the conscious and unconscious. Those are what I call functional illusions. Like, yes, they're not real, but they're happening. Like, you still do operate that way until you don't. And so it's not all just the brain as some sort of like organic matter that is projecting you. Therefore the brain's doing it. Like, it doesn't matter, because even if that's true, the representation of you feels real. You feel real to you, right? Like, and you have partitioned off the things that, like, it's like moving the goalpost. Like, it almost doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a person who is an illusion, who has cordoned off unconscious, conscious, bad, how I'm going to present to the world and move through the world, repressed, this is what I will externalize. Does it matter if that's just the speaking so-called entity, alleged entity, or if it's actually the bunch of mush in the brain or the body? Like, at some point, it kind of doesn't matter. There's still the problem of this person who is doing these things, or this brain doing these things. But I don't see how trading one for the other wakes you up out of you. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, let's see.
I remember years after I started seeking just being like, why the hell did I get into this subject? But it was like, I couldn't have done anything else. Like, when you begin to ask these questions, you can't stop yourself. It's not like you can then zip up your brain and forget everything you've learned. Like, I'm not going to ask questions about the nature of reality. I'm not going to think outside the box. But it's all going to disappear. Once you've started asking the questions, you're in the tiger's mouth. Yes.
Yeah, so, like, once you start asking the questions, you're in the tiger's mouth. But if you're still just, like, attached to a teacher or two or three, or books, or this video, or whatever, then you're still, there's a you who is a functional illusion, who is functionally attached to the knowledge that they are gathering, and that makes them feel something like, oh, I'm on to it. And then that is the self-identity. So you can talk a good game, but are you non-dual, Ms. Cairns? Are you, like, what are we talking about here? Just shit you learned? Who cares? Put up or shut up. Let's see the non-duality.
So that's that I would say about that. And doesn't it survive to put the present? But if you're putting your attention in the present moment, I assume that is in some form or another a pursuit of awakening. Like, you're doing it for an idea of something. But yeah, I'm totally into that. I think it's a really great exercise to do, is putting the attention in the I am or the empty looking. And I would totally recommend that unless you're having PTSD or OCD.
But see, again, this is the problem. you would recommend a practice of putting your consciousness in the present moment. For what? Practice makes perfect. I mean, if you're the thing that has to go by your own, by your own admission, you're an illusion, then why are you telling these illusions listening to you right now to remain an illusion and now do the illusion of being in the present moment? Right? Like, the problem is the illusion has to go. The self has to die. And the brain has to do it. I mean, I've been saying this. So in this sense, it is the brain that needs to hear this to shut you off. Um, uh, but telling people to continue to be people and do, you know, this technique of being in the present, focusing on the present, isn't it. That is it's a facsimile. It's not the real. And because there's still a you doing it, and all this stuff, about, you hear about, like, the witness, like, you get rid of the ego and be the witness. That's also the same, moving the goalpost. There's still an entity there, a so-called entity, a you, witnessing, right? So I imagine moving into the present moment is more just like, and like, okay, to be fair, it's not as though there aren't benefits. It's not as though it's not good to, like, even just sit and just try to see out of all of your eyeballs. If you have functioning eyes and you can see out of, like, your periphery, try to listen and hear everything that you can, try to feel your own body, all these sorts of things that people do. It's not that they don't bring you to an interesting state of alertness or two. But it's just simply that's not the death of self, which is the waking up. That's still it's making the dream more interesting. It's making the dream more lucid. It's not waking you from the dream. So that's what practices are. And a lucid dream is, again, probably more interesting than just unconsciously going through a dream. But if we're talking about waking up, and it's in the title here, non-duality, if we're talking about leaving duality, leaving duality, if we're talking about duality dissolving and non-duality becoming the case, that's really what it is. This ain't it. So that's all. All right, let's see if there's anything else.
Then I would look to do something else. Yeah. Question. Enda. Hi Lisa. How does one navigate with constant chronic bodily pain? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear you're in constant chronic bodily pain. That's difficult to navigate. And the last thing that the mind wants to do is put the attention in the I am, because you're in physical pain.
All right, I guess this is where I'll leave it, because now I'm just going to be a broken record, because she's a broken record. If you're putting your mind in the I am, whatever that means, you're still doing it, right? Again, she's saying that the person is an illusion. She's saying that the illusion is a projection of the brain. And to that extent, she is correct. The stuff about going back in time, predicting you, not so much, but that part is true. So why do you want this illusion? What is the benefit of the illusion bringing itself to some state you're calling the I am, which is only going to be imaginary? It's either going to be something that you hocus pocus into your own imagination personally, or that you stumble into impersonally through the collective. It's going to be there waiting for you. Whatever the practice is that tells you, if you do this repetition a bunch of times, sure, you can hypnotize yourself. And then you'll see the thing that I just told you you'll see once you've hypnotized yourself. I mean, that's roughly it. So what are we talking about here? Don't tell people their illusions and then tell that illusion to practice not being an illusion, or to visualize moving yourself, whatever it is, however one does such a thing, moving into, I mean, the thing that you need to do is not do anything, right? Therefore, you're not moving. The thing is just seeing the fact of the illusion, the fact that the seeker cannot get to what is sought, because what is sought is non-duality, timelessness, truth, which is not knowledge, which is not of thought. So how does this thought construct get to that which is not thought? How does a psychological time thought construct get to that which is timeless and not thought? You can't do it. That's the point. And when you get that, not through, an intellectual exercise, when you really truly, when the brain hears that, the brain goes, oh, ping, and you are no more. And if there be truth, truth be there. If there be a timelessness of which I am speaking, that will be the apparent case right in that moment. So that's it. No moving. Stop moving. Don't even stop moving. Stopping moving is a movement. It's just see it. It's just see the case and then let the stopping begin on its own. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Until next time, ciao. And remember, cheap plug, January 8th, get my book, Kundalini and the Secrets of Silence. I promise you will be... What? I promise nothing. You'll enjoy it. That's what I promise. I was going to say entertained, and then I was thinking enlightened. No. But you'll enjoy it. So go enjoy it. Bye.
He's so very